The Apostle Paul emphatically states that by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified, which means declared innocent. This is so because the works of the law belong to Satan's jurisdiction of iniquity, which is represented by the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Satan's principle of reward and punishment is not about to exonerate anyone from their wrongdoings. This was the only reality humanity knew, that is, until Jesus Christ came into the picture. Jesus brought to light that in God's jurisdiction of righteousness we are not saved by our works, but by His grace. He does not punish us for our works, but pours more grace. The word grace, charis, in Greek means unearned or unmerited favor, a favor done without expectation of return, the absolutely free expression of the loving kindness of God to men, finding its only motive in the bounty and benevolence of the giver. Unearned and unmerited favor. Charis stands in direct antithesis to erga, works, the two being mutually exclusive. God's grace affects man's sinfulness and not only forgives the repentant sinner, but brings joy and thankfulness to him. It changes the individual to a new creature without destroying his individuality. Listen to John's words about Jesus. The Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld His glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. And of His fullness have all we received, and grace for grace. For the law was given by Moses, but grace and truth came by Jesus Christ. In Him we have redemption through His blood, the forgiveness of sins according to the riches of His grace. But if you go back to works, this is what the Word says to you. You have become estranged from Christ. You who attempt to be justified by the law, you have fallen from grace. And Paul says, God who has saved us and called us with a holy calling, not according to our works, but according to His own purpose and grace, which was given to us in Christ Jesus before time began. For all have sinned and come short of the glory of God, being justified freely by His grace through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus. And you, being dead in your trespasses and the uncircumcision of your flesh, He has made alive together with Him, having forgiven you all trespasses, having wiped out the handwriting of requirements that was against us, which was contrary to us, and He has taken it out of the way, having nailed it to the cross. Having disarmed principalities and powers, He made a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them in it. For God did not send His Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through Him might be saved, that the world through the good news of the kingdom given through Jesus Christ might be saved from Satan's condemning law of sin and death, the law of good and evil. He who believes in Him is not condemned, but he who does not believe is condemned already through Satan's reward and punishment system, which has been in the world since Adam ate of the tree, because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. He has not believed the good news of God's kingdom of grace. Therefore, as through one man's offense, that is, Adam's eating of Satan's tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which represents the reward and punishment system, judgment came to all men, resulting in condemnation through Satan's condemnatory system. Even so, through one man's righteous act, the free gift of grace came to all men, resulting in justification of life. There is therefore now no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus, those who are in His jurisdiction of grace, who do not walk according to the flesh, that is, who do not walk according to Satan's reward and punishment system, but according to the Spirit, according to God's grace. Now all things are of God, who has reconciled us to Himself through Jesus Christ, and has given us the ministry of reconciliation. That is, that God was in Christ reconciling the world to Himself, not imputing their trespasses to them, and has committed to us the word of reconciliation. Now then, we are ambassadors for Christ, as though God were pleading through us. We implore you on Christ's behalf, be reconciled to God. God's good news is freeing and life-giving, for sin shall not have dominion over you, for you are not under the law, but under grace.